Is the screen visible now? Is the screen visible now? I hope I am audible. Am I audible? Please comment in the chat so that I will get an idea and I will start the lecture. Okay. Thank you, Anuradha, for confirming. Thank you for joining. And today's lesson is very important. In each and every interview, people will ask interviewer will ask you questions based on the constraints. The SQL interview will not be complete if he has not asked questions on the constraints. So as you know that what is the constraint? So constraint meaning of the constraint is these are the rules and that we can apply on types of data in a table. That is, we can specify the limit on the type of data that we can store in a particular column or in a table. So yesterday we have covered constraints and then not null constraint. Post that we have covered unique constraint, and in that we have also covered how to add constraint while creating the table, as well as how to add constraint in table when the table is already exist. So today I will cover default constraint. So what is default constraint? Basically, this constraint specifies a default value for a column when no value is specified by the user. So whenever we insert record into a table, and if we are not specifying value for that particular column, then this default value is getting inserted. So the real time example is real life example is whenever there is a column called create or update. That column, most of the such kind of column has a default constraint, and then they pass the date, or even for example in our daily case, like for example, if you are doing a registration for university, and if you are part of that particular university, then the if the software is designed for a particular university, and if the students are going to register for that university, then the university name will be specified as a default in that column. So if no value is specified to the column at the time of the insertion, the default value will be added automatically to that column. So and the default value will be added to all new rows if no other value is specified. I will show you an example of a default constraint. So here what we will do, we will create a I will drop this department table, and again I will create the same table. So I will do it by query so that you will remember the query. The query is to drop a table, drop table, and then specify the table name as department name and select it. Execute. So this table is no longer exist. See, department table is top. I will create this table with default constraint. Create table depart. I will create only dept as table name. Then ID, department ID as int. This is my data type. Then name of department as varchar. Every department name may vary, so I will consider varchar as data type. Now what I will do, establishment date of the department. So est date, then date is the data type, and I will mention as default, then get date, and I will create. So yesterday as told you that get date is a function which is used to get the current date and time. So I have created this table. You can see here this table will persist. Depth table is there. Now what I will do, I will not insert value into the est date. Still you can see the value will be added for that particular department. So select to insert a value, insert into depth. This is the syntax. Now I am going to insert values into id and name, and I am not going to insert values into this table. So I have to specify the column names, then name, and now what I will do, one, and then department is COMPUTER, and the computer is a string, so I have to syntax values, then insert into chapter and values. I will insert. So see, I have inserted values here. Now to get the results, how can you see? Check select are from depth and execute it. See, today's date is there. I haven't inserted the values into this department table, and it is taking today's date. Now what I will do, I will write one more insert statement, and now what I will do, I will pass the department date. So insert into name, then yes, column name is yes, est underscore date as established date. And now what I will do, I will pass date as yesterday's date or last year date, 20101 1st January, and I will insert this record. So here I have deliberately passed this value 1st January 2021. Now I will execute this one. See, if I pass the values, it is taking that value, and if I am not passing the values, then it is taking the default value. So now again I will show you one more example. I will not pass the value for the establishment date. I will create one more record called computer, then other is the IT department, and now I will not pass the values for the IT department in the establishment date. Now I will execute this statement. See, today's date is coming. So why today's date is coming? Because I have deliberately specified get date. If I have specified any other field, then it will take that value. Now what I will do, I will add one more. So we have just checked how to create a default constraint while creating the table. This is the syntax, like create table, table name, then column name, data type, and then your default keyword, and then value of that particular whatever value you want to pass as a default, you can pass. Now if you want to add a column to a existing table with a default constraint, so what is the syntax? This is the syntax, alter table, table name. To add a column, what is the syntax? Alter table then depth is our table, add column name is city or location, department location. So location is in varchar 10, and now default, what is the syntax? Oh, varchar, then default values. So I will pass location as Pune and I will execute. See what it will do. Let's see. We have added one more column for this department table. In a department table, you can check here columns. Location is added, right? Now what I will do, select star from depth. So this is the syntax. See, null value is added by default to this particular location field. Now whenever I will, if the records are already exist and if you add a new column with default value, then it will take as null value. Okay, and if you try to insert one more record, insert into depth, and then if you values, then 1 comma etc, this is the department name. Then if I'm not specifying anything, then I will get an error because I'm inserting values into only two columns. So in that case I have to specify the column names. So here id and name are my two columns. I will insert. So whenever you are inserting values into a particular column during that time in insert statement, you have to mention the you have to mention the column names post your table name. See now, I haven't passed values for this location as well as establishment date. Then still it is capturing or it is storing the default date, Pune and today's date. Now whatever I will do, I will insert values into all fields in a sequence. Now my date will be get date. You can pass get date today's date also like this, and then instead of Pune location, my location is now Mumbai, and my department is HR department. Okay, so I will insert values, and now check it should get today's date and Mumbai location. Here I passed getDate as a function. That's the reason it has basically it is not taken a value from the default. I have passed the values. Okay, if I pass this value as instead of the getDate, if I pass the values as any date 2021 0505, and instead of the HR department, if I have a account department, then and location will be Delhi. In that case, it will take whatever value you are pass, that value will be stored in the table C. So I hope default constraint is clear to all of you. To add a default constraint to existing table, this is the syntax. So alter table name, then constraint name, add constraint name, default values, and then column name. So for example, I have a table department, then what will be the mm, admin of department or is active. For example, we will consider whether the department is active or not, and I will add is active column. So alter table, then depth, add constraint. So this is the constraint. So default is the constraint. Whenever you add any constraint, by default it will take that constraint. See, these are by default created constraint. Okay, df debt establishment date, and then location. So if you want to add the constraint name as user friendly, like user defined, then you can add like this: alter table, add constraint, then constraint name. I'm adding default constraint, so I will specify df. This is a standard method. It is not necessary to mention. You can specify any name, but it's good practice to give the keyword as like word as df, then underscore, and then your table name. Post that your column name. So is active will be my active is my column name. Then so constant name, then default value. In my case, one is for active value. This for this is exactly value, and then one. So in this is active field, it will give one. Then oh, prior to that I have to add a column: alter table depth, then add is active active bit. This is my column. I am not specifying anything, so you can see null null null. Now what I am doing, add, and then for the column name is active. Let me check this one. For oh, it is not required. See, it has added one value for this one. Now if I execute this query again, this is taking null, and if I add one more record here, then it will take as LDIT account, then physics. I will add department as physics. I will execute this one. See, one by default it is taking as one. So if you want to add a default constraint in existing column, then this is the syntax. Now if you want to drop a constraint, and then you can select the particular constraint and you can drop it. I will alter table depth, then drop constraint, and then the constraint name. So I will drop the location. So now there will be no constraint called depth location. And now if I try to add value into this one, then see, just check that last value was Pune for this particular record at physics department. It was taking Pune as a default value for this location field. Now if I add a value, if I add a record into the table, then it would add a null value because default constant is we have dropped. So department is 3, then yes, science is my department. See, null value. Now what I will do, I will show you one more thing. Now I will add one more column into this department, and instead, like while creating the this field, right, I haven't added. Let me show you. See, while adding this field, I haven't specified is null or not null. By default, whenever I add a column, and if I not specifying not null constraint, then by default it will take as a null value. Now, what I will do, I will add one more column called salary to department, and each department I will assign a default value as 500 rupees or 5000 rupees. Then salary money is my data type. Now default 500, 5000, not null. What it will do, it will add one more column called salary, and it will assign 5000 to all the records. Let's see. 5000, 5000, right? So whenever is you whenever you specify not null and then default values to that particular column, then it will add that default values to all the records. The records which are already there, it will add values for that one too. Okay. So during interview, so many times this question will be asked to you, or this question may ask to you that can I add a default values to a newly created column? Yes, you can add, and the default value, if you are not specifying not null constraint, that time the default value for the rest of the column will be null. You can see here we haven't added not null while creating this is active column. So that's the main reason for existing record it has added null value. But in case of the salary, I have added a not null constraint while creating that particular field or column. During that time, it is taking the salary value as 5000. So this is the one. Then this is the syntax to drop a constraint, default constraint or any constraint, alter table, table name, and then drop constraint, constraint name. I already, I think, showed you. Else I will show you one more time. What is the alter table? I will copy this one. Then drop constraint. What is the constraint name? This constraint name I want to drop. So I will drop this one. Okay. So I haven't dropped the column name. I have dropped just a constraint. Okay, so column will be there. Now we will go and I will show you the check constraints. So for that, what I will do, I will drop this column, or we will drop the whole department table, and again we will create the same table with check constraint. So what is check constraint? I will explain you. So check constraint basically is it helps to validate the values of a column to meet a particular condition. Okay, that is, it helps to ensure that the value stored in a column meets a specific condition. And when it is important, like so many times, whenever you try to fill values into a like while submitting the form, you may get an error that the email address is not in proper format, or mobile number is not of the like length of the mobile number is not 10 digit kind of things. Okay, so at back end, they have the developer or the database designer has added a check constraint, and it is restricting you to violate that particular rule. So in check constraint, you can add a check constraint on a particular column, or you can add a check constraint on multiple column also. So yeah, and you can create a multiple check constraint for a single column, or you can create a single constraint on multiple columns. So this is the syntax to add a constraint, check constraint. So I will create, like while creating table, this is the syntax: create table, table name, then column name, and constraint name. So we'll create a table called I will drop a student table. They will create the same table again, or a voter table. Okay, I will create a voter table here. real time example. Create table, voter information, voter info. Okay. Then voter, I will mention voter ID not null. I will add like voter ID cannot be null. Then voter name not null. I will add this as unique constant. Okay, so that unique constant voter name, then age int, and then I will add a constraint age should be greater than 18. It should not, or oh, sorry, age should be greater than equals to 18. If your age is less than 18, during that time you are not eligible, like record will not be inserted into this table. So let me execute this one. I have created this table. Now we'll try to insert a record into this voter information table. Insert into voter info, then values. Mm, ID 1, voter name is Jay, then age, I will try to insert 17. Okay. Now I am inserting values to every field of the table or every column. Hence, I haven't specified the column names. If I am trying to insert values into only two fields or specific fields, during that time I have to mention the column names here. Now I have to insert C. The insert statement conflict with the check constraint. So it will not allow me to insert the values. Those are less than 18. So how it evaluates? So age. What is the value of age we are trying to pass? 17. So 17, it will try like this. 17 is greater than equals to 18. Is it true? No, it's false. So it will not allow to insert the record. Now what I will do, I will insert 18 and let's see. It allows me to insert the values. Select star from voter info. See, J is there. So this is the check constraint, and now I will show you one more thing. So even you can specify check constraints on like multiple columns. So if you have column 1 and column 2, then you can specify even here you can see the constraint name and then check constraint. Okay, so you can even specify the constraint name also. I will show you the same. I will drop this table again and I will create the same table. Before that I will show you. See voter information, then constraint. So see this age and this, there is a like other few characters, right? This is not readable format. So if you want to avoid such things, then you can specify this syntax like create table name, then constraint. You can specify post this as a comma constrant constraint. Constraint, then constraint name. So we are applying a constraint. So chk underscore, then table name voter info underscore, we are applying on the age. Then we can specify the keyword check. So we will specify this condition here. Now this is the alternative way you can create the table. So I will create table to voter underscore information to our voter, only voter, table name is my voter. Now I will create. See, this is the syntax. Now, if you check, there is one more table called the voter, and it has a constraint name as this, like this. Oh, this is voter. See, this is into readable format, right? Then, if you want to add a constraint on existing table, so you can use this syntax alter table name, then add constraint, and you can specify the constraint name and then condition. So what I will do, I will add here one more column called date of birth. So alter table voter, then add column date of birth dob date, and then what I will do, check dob should not be less than equals to get date. Your date of birth will not be like this will give me the current date and time, right? So your date of birth will not be in the future. So in that case, your date of birth should be less than this. So I will add this one, and we'll try to insert record into it. Let's see. Insert into order, then values. So ID again one, then voter name as J. Currently I am inserting into voter and not into the voter info. Then I will specify age as 18. So I'm validating this condition as true. Now what I will do, I will pass get date or tomorrow's date. So tomorrow is 2022, 04 and 22. So future date, I'm passing 20, so 5th April 22, and it is it is not allowing me. So it is just checking whether that date, this past date is less than or today's date. No, it's not. So it will not allow me. But I will do, I will pass like 19, and then I will try to insert into it. See, it is allowing me now. Okay, so check constraint is used to check the conditions. Basically, to check the mobile number length or Aadhaar card length, information, kind of information. Basically, it restricts, and to drop a constraint again, alter table name, then drop constraint. Okay. So today we will stop here. I have few questions for you guys. Just comment the answers of these questions based on what we learned yesterday and in earlier session. Just go through it, and then uh, write down the answers in the comment. I will check and I will revert to all of you. I just request to you, if you are liking the sessions, then to like, comment, and subscribe. Share with your friends. It is really helpful, and I'm delivering these sessions free of